Inclusive education is a flexible educational system that welcomes every child regardless of their ability. Inclusive education is not solely the responsibility of the school. Family also play an equal role in the inclusion of their children in education as well as in the society. Family involvement is an important predictor of child success, especially children with disabilities. The level of family involvement in their child's education might vary in accordance with the opportunities that the education system make available to them. In the case of children with disabilities, the willingness of the family to engage in educational activities might be influenced by various factors like type of disability, severity of the condition, parents' educational status, families' socio-economic status, and the nature of parent-child relationship. Families can participate in the education of their children with disabilities in different ways. When family members are involved in the educational activities, the child can achieve more. Some of the roles that family can perform to achieve successful inclusion of their child with disabilities are family as activists, family as facilitators, family as partners in education, family as advocates, family can support other families. Families of children with disabilities play a leading role in moving education system towards more inclusive practice. As part of family networking groups, they can approach national, international agencies and policy makers to formulate new policies regarding accessibility and reforms the existing ones in such a way that promote inclusion. Families can establish links with school and encourage school authorities to include all children with disabilities in their school. Joining with parental organizations, they can organize seminars and awareness campaigns to sensitize the society about the need for inclusion for children with disabilities. As facilitators, families can act as the facilitators for their children with inclusion in school as well as in the community. Each family should encourage their child with disability to participate in all activities when they can meet normal children. Families act as the facilitators for their child's inclusion in school as well as in the community. Each family should encourage their child with disability to participate in all activities where they can meet normal children. Stimulate their children to develop a healthy relationship with their normal peers. This will help them to improve their self-esteem. As the first educators, family members have to groom their child for self-independence in their daily living skills and basic tasks inside the home. Teach discipline, develop positive attitude and train them to face life with courage and confidence. Families should encourage proper communication between family members and the child and create a home environment that facilitates self-confidence of the child. Families can also find out organizations that provide service according to the child's abilities and interest. For example, if the child has interest and talents in music, the parents can find out organizations which are giving training in that particular area. Family members are the first and most influential educators of their children with disabilities. Homeschool partnership is essential to ensure the educational improvement of the child. They have the right to choose the type of school and the type of educational services for their child with disabilities. Parents can get involved in school activities in a variety of ways. A responsible parent should attend parent-teachers meeting regularly for the discussion with the class teachers about the educational programs being implemented. Parents and other family members should take part in planning, developing and implementing individualized educational program, that is IEP, for their children. Families of children with disabilities can give useful suggestions for curriculum adaptations and teaching methods as they know the strength and functional limitations to their children. Family involvement can also come in the form of homework supervision. Family members can encourage their child to practice the skills that they have learned from school. Families can thus assist their child to develop more positive attitude towards the school, teachers and the learning system. Parents and other family members are their children's first advocates. They know their children better than anyone else. It is the responsibility of the family members to make sure that their children get all facilities according to their needs. Each family member should know about the details of the disability of their children and also the services available for that particular disability. Family members can work for creating awareness on disability among society members and also raise their perception towards the need for inclusive education. Family should work for removing the negative attitude of the society towards disabled individual and make them aware that individuals with disabilities are also having the same right to be part of the society. Associating with other motivating families and organizations, they can be advocates for the rights and benefits of their children with disabilities. They can organize advocacy campaigns for changing the practices and policies which would create an inclusive society for all. Some families of children with disabilities are isolated in the community due to their low socioeconomic status, illiteracy, linguistic diversity. The empowered family help these exceptional families. They can motivate those families, help them to be a part of parental organization and make them actively participate in such groups. Families can start a local group for families that have a disabled child in their families. In such groups, the parents of children with disabilities who are in a better social or educational positions can share their experiences and knowledge with other families. The local community group can create a network with national or international family networking groups and work together for an inclusive society. Active family involvement has long been considered to be an important factor related to better outcomes in the education of young children with and without disabilities in inclusive programs. Let us see some of the advantages of family involvement in inclusive education. The first one is when parents and other family members are get involved in education, students achieve success regardless of their family backgrounds. For example, parents' educational status, family socioeconomic status and their religion and background. The second point is involvement in the educational process helps the parents to gain an understanding about the curriculum which follows in the school. By interacting with the parents, teachers can collect more information about the child, especially associated problem and learning styles of the child. And the next point is parental participation in children encourage children to develop a more positive view on learning. With active participation of the parents, the school can develop an effective program for the child. And next is parental involvement in the child's education develops self-confidence in the children with disabilities. This will improve the self-esteem and they can use their abilities positively. Parent-teacher collaboration helps to bridge gap between the school and the community environment. Majority of the parents have the desire to participate in their child's learning, but there are some factors which prevent the active involvement of the family in the education of their children with disabilities. Let us see some of the factors or barriers which restricts parental involvement in education of their children with disabilities. The first one is lack of time. When parents are engaged or busy with their work, they do not get enough time to spend with their children. They have busy schedule, especially in the daytime, which restrict their participation in the educational activities of their children with disabilities. The next factor is lack of education. The parents who are illiterate or did not complete their school education may have difficulty to help their children in educational activities. They feel inferior and lose their confidence and they are not ready to meet the classroom teachers. They may face difficulty in helping children to complete their homework also. Families' feeling of unvalued or unwelcome. Some parents think that they are useless and can do nothing to contribute to the school. They may feel unwanted by teachers and school authorities. They may have had some negative school experience themselves and develop a negative attitude towards school and the school personnel and thereby restrict their participation. There is a need for enhancing the involvement of families in inclusive education. Some of the strategies which we can use for increasing family involvement are: school should help a written policy to promote family involvement, and parents are welcome in the school and their support and assistance are essential for success. And next is including families as full partners in decision making. And next point is school should promote and support the parenting skills, and school is ready to invite families to visit the school, and they should maintain a school environment that is comfortable for families, and school should encourage networking between families and keep a suggestion box in the school. It helps the parents to give suggestions that they have difficulty to tell open. And next is respect each family and accept them as they are. Implement policies that provide financial support to families, and school should facilitate parent teacher collaboration in all levels of services, and they should organize training programs for families and help family to identify and utilize local resources, develop a sense in the families that they are always welcome to the school. In inclusive education, the child with disabilities remain with their families and they are part of all the social, educational, cultural and economic activities of the community. So, communities have a significant role in the life of individuals with disabilities. Community is considered as an extended family for the child. Proper community participation is needed for inclusion of children with disabilities in their own community. The enrollment of disabled children in their neighborhood school happened only through active community involvement. As a stakeholder, the community should encourage the inclusion of persons with disabilities in their own communities. Communities should be ready to use its resources and to maintain a good communication with local government institutions and non-governmental organizations in the community. Now we will discuss some of the roles and responsibilities of community. Main one is identification. Identification of children with disabilities is one of the main responsibility of the community. With the help of community volunteers, they can conduct disability surveys and medical camps in the community. Once the disability is identified, conduct awareness programs for the community members regarding the need for supporting persons with disabilities. Help individuals with disabilities to enter into a mainstream school and make them aware about their strength, interest and abilities. Communities should participate in the school activities, conduct awareness classes for the community members on rights of persons with disabilities, give awareness to the parents about the government programs and policies for their children with special needs. The second one is networking. Network means making connections and sustains that for mutually beneficial relationship. Networking includes both internal and external. It is the responsibility of the community to make network with the agencies working for persons with disabilities inside and outside the community. By maintaining a good relationship with other organizations, the community can share their knowledge, facilitate and expertise. Relation with higher level organizations helps the community to avail financial and legal support for the proper implementation of inclusion. Community based rehabilitation. Community based rehabilitation is a multi-sectoral approach for improving the equalization of opportunities and social inclusion of persons with disabilities. Community based rehabilitation can be implemented only through the combined and coordinated effort of persons with disabilities, their family, local government functionaries and community members. Community volunteers are key service providers in community based rehabilitation programs. They have various roles to play, starting from identification of persons with disabilities to vocational placement. Active participation of community members is needed for successful social inclusion of persons with disabilities in the society. We all know community is a social unit in which a group of people living in the same place interact with each other and have certain attitudes and interests in common. Persons with disabilities may need support from the community members to fully participate in the community activities. Community inclusion is the right of every individual with disabilities. Community inclusion provides them the opportunity to live in the community and take part in all community activities like everyone else in the community. It also allows individuals with disabilities to make and maintain meaningful relationship with the community members, respect and valued by other community members. Engage activities with other non-disabled individuals in the community, recognize the abilities like everyone else, and to make the advantages of the community resources and lead their life like other normal individuals in the community. A community resource is anything that can be used to improve the quality of the community life. Community resources include human and material resources. Now let us see what are the human resources and material resources available in the community. Human resource is the most powerful resource in the community. Human resource consists of the well-trained, well-educated and empowered individuals in the community. Some examples are teachers, doctors, skilled workers and other skilled professionals in the community. All these members have their own roles in inclusion of persons with disabilities in the community. Resources available in the community other than human resources are the material resources. It may include the public and private buildings, institutions, land, financial sources, and some examples for material resources are a physical structure or place in the community like school, church, library, recreation center and social clubs in the community. It is also a material resource. It can be community service that makes life better for community members. And some examples of community service are public transportations, public health centers and government offices. Financial resource, examples of financial resource, a small scale or large scale industry which provides jobs and provides financial support to the community. Whatever resources are available in the community, mobilization and utilization of the same is important. Resource mobilization is the process of utilizing different types of resources in the community. The first step for mobilizing resource is to identify the available resources in the community. Once the resources are identified, develop appropriate strategies to raise those resources. Let us see what are the barriers which prevent community to use that resources. Community barriers, physical barrier, communication barrier, policy barrier. To conclude, inclusion is not just a physical accommodation of disabled individuals. It ensures equal opportunities and full participation of individuals with disabilities in the community. That means all people with disabilities should get a chance to freely and openly participate in all activities of the community. Families and communities have an important role to play in inclusion of persons with disabilities. It is necessary to make sure that the participation of parents and community members, as they are the important stakeholders of inclusion of persons with disabilities. Thank you.